for this episode, I really wanted to talk about the fact that we have access to capturing life. I think it's a beautiful thing that we all have the ability to capture our moments. And I feel as though we've grown away from this as it's become more of like a profession, as far as like marketing and social media and what that's expanded video into. And I think there is always going to be a place for cinema, for commercials and all of that, but I think we've almost forgot the joy of just capturing the moment, like the home videos, the just having the chance to like look back and reminisce on moments that we didn't really get to observe because we were experiencing them, right? And I think there's something so special about reminiscing, about being able to look back on a time in life and then look at where you're at now to almost ground us and keep us aware of that growth that we don't often see because we're living it, you know? And I think we've grown so distracted by, comparing ourselves to other people on what we see on social media that we have forgotten to compare ourselves to our older selves. And I think that's what Co-Cine can bring in to, even if you don't even use our service. Like this isn't even about us making money. This is about waking people up to this idea that you are growing, you are changing, you are elevating. And even though you don't see it within the span of a couple days or a couple years, even, like, it's happening. And I think we can make this a reality again and make this sort of awareness again for people that feel stuck, that they can create a level of even accountability. Like, video isn't supposed to be exclusive to me, to someone with a fancy camera, to cinema, to high quality. Like, it's not about high quality. It's about storytelling. It's about capturing the moment. We forgot the foundation of what video is actually for. It's to capture memories and moments. Like, that was the foundation of how it was founded. And because we've become so centered around social media, around business, around marketing, around entrepreneurship, and video has a place there. But it's not the place. It's not the only place. It's not the only purpose. In fact, I would even argue that it's not even like up there as far as like purpose, as far as like significance of what I feel as though is actually powerful when it comes to video. I mean, we know this because we get invested in shows. We get invested in social media. Like, we know the power of video. Like, we know the influence that it has over our lives. So it's like, but we don't realize the influence that we can have on our own lives through video, to where, like, instead of creating for an audience that you don't know, you create for yourself. You create for your family. You create for the loved ones to actually progress through life, to connect, to keep up everything that, Facebook was meant to be, or Instagram was meant to be. It was never meant to be this content creation app that is just people trying to make money or trying to get likes or trying to get views. Like, we've turned it into that. And a lot of that has to do with this idea of making money from it. Like, you don't have to make money from it. It's okay. Like, just capture the moment. Like, you don't have to become a YouTuber. You don't have to become a content creator to just enjoy video. And the people that are doing that, you have to recognize that it is going to drain you. It is going to ruin you of actually even enjoying the process of making videos, of telling a story, because it's going to be hinged on livelihood. And this is something that I even recognize as a documentary filmmaker and a freelancer, is like, I fell out of love with video because it was no longer about capturing life, about capturing moments, about the love of storytelling. And when we hinge everything on our livelihood, like, we start to lose the love of our art. And as human beings, we were all meant to create. Like, the whole connection of like profession and creating, it has been like locked together, and they're not supposed to be. Like, yes, you can make a living off creating, and there are people that do it successfully, but there's like sacrifice that goes into it, that due to the fact that creating is an act of love. It is a gift. It is something that is done with intention. It is something that is done not in an exchange for something, but because it just comes from love. Because creation was given to us by God as image bearers of God, who is the ultimate creator. Creation was done with love, as a gift, nothing in return, given choice, given something that was just the essence of wanting to provide something and just love it. And because it's now been ingrained in a transaction for money, it actually creates this like non-synchronous relationship, because now you're turning creation into a transaction. Now the creation isn't out of love. Now you're expecting something in return. And that removes this love aspect from creating to now becoming centered around profit, centered around validation, centered around these different things, because you're looking for something to fill you up as a result of putting something out, because creating something is an act of sacrifice. It comes from a source. It comes from, and those that, pull from the source, it comes from God. And those that don't know God, it comes from them. And when creation comes from you, you need something in return. Like, that's sort of push-pull, supply-demand, giving energy, receiving energy. And that is the rotation that we've gotten ourselves into on social media, of like needing that validation, needing some sort of financial gain. And then like when you don't get it, then you're operating out of fear. Then you're operating out of animosity. Then you're operating out of anger. And that's why you have a lot of creators that are bashing clients, that are complaining, that are revolving their lives around likes, that are just getting angry about not getting paid enough. And it's like, when you enter into being a creator through money, that's a business now. Like that's the agreement that you made. That's like the covenant that you made as a part of creating for a transaction. And what we're trying to gift to people in hopes of people recognizing that creating is an act of love, and it is a way of actually expressing love, of capturing love, of being present in the moment and connected to the moment through love, because everyday peoples don't have that necessity of it being something that they rely on for a living. Like, they have the best opportunity to actually create from a place of joy, to create from a place of freedom. And the great thing about creating too is when you're creating, you're not consuming. So now, like, all the time that you're spending on social media that actually ends up consuming you, if we can replace that and equip you guys with understanding how to actually capture life, and how to like turn capturing life as a means of actually connecting with one another, right? Of building community. Like, I even imagine like a cool first date where both people have like these mini cameras and you guys just do a photo walk and just have the opportunity to like walk, talk, and like capture what it is around you. Like, no strings attached, like just a cool, fun thing that you also get an opportunity to capture that first date. So I think there's just this way that capturing life can actually be a way that we connect more with one another, that we can start to redeem creating, that we can start to actually make creating more of a like everyday person type of thing, and not just, oh, he's a videographer, or oh, he's like a photographer. Like, our identities don't have to be tied to the camera. Like, the camera is a tool. It's just a way that we can use a tool to connect and to actually capture life, and put a tool to use that is actually intentional, as opposed to based off of what we're like trained to do or addicted to do through like social media and gaining clout and approval and things like that, or even feeling the pressure and need to capture. Like, I don't want people to continue to feel this like necessity of like appealing to an audience of people that they don't know. I want to be able to redeem video in a way to like share with you guys that it can actually be a beautiful way of expressing humanity and connecting with one another. And I feel like I'm repeating myself a bunch, but like I'm also just like talking through this because I see it. Like, I see it in my head, and I know it's like a dream and it's too good to be true, but I have to believe it, because when Christ saved my life, I didn't believe it was possible. And I had almost given up on love. I had almost given up on this idea of like flawless love. And I don't believe that like we as humans are capable of flawless love. I think that was actually the mix-up I had for a long time in believing that we could flawlessly love one another. But I think we should continue to pursue the possibility that Jesus can show up in all of our lives and provide that love within our lives. And even if it takes a lifetime, like, isn't it worth it? Like, isn't it worth pursuing? Even if it takes a lifetime. And even if it takes more, you know that you end up being able to receive that love in eternal life. So now we have it where we're just in the journey. We're in the process. We're pursuing. We know that we'll never get there in this lifetime, but at least we can be a part of the ride of understanding what this love looks like through Christ and through what it says in the Word, and how it to actually activate and be that love, and how we can show that love and just every day show up and do it. And I think filming and creating is one of those ways.